Hey everybody, weight loss season is here again. And as a lot of people, millions of people every year take up the task of losing holiday and winter weight, gym memberships skyrocket, everyone making their resolution, and then 80% fail. Today we're going to find out and take a look at weight loss through a marketing glass. See where the marketers always get you. All the companies that don't really are not really concerned about the chemistry of your body. They just want to sell you their product. And we're going to discuss the latest trends, even the latest drug-based solutions that even fail too, that have all the side effects that you don't want. Today we're going to talk about, with Dr. Whiting here, science-based weight loss. And, well, let's just go start there. Where do we begin?
Well, I think we ought to begin because we're going to be covering a lot of material today and not nearly all of the material that we have. So let me give you an easy solution to weight loss. And then we're going to break it down. But I've been studying weight loss and its complications and its solutions for nearly 50 years. I started out with athletes and bodybuilders having to make weight for competition. And that went onward decade after decade. And I've gained a lot of knowledge. I've dealt with thousands of people, not hundreds, thousands in the last 50 years. Well, everything that we learned here at our institute, I decided I should write it down one day. So I did. And the result is a book. And it is an ebook. We decided to go ebook instead of hardbound because of a lot of reasons. But the ebook is called The Weight Management Revolution.
And we'll put a link below the video to it.
Perfect. And that is available as an ebook from Amazon. So you just go on to Amazon, type that title and my name, and away you go. And everything that we learned in the past 50 years is in that book. The trials, what worked, what didn't work, why it didn't work. In fact, we discussed the top 10 reasons by surveys of thousands of people. The top 10 reasons why people fail at weight loss. We not only talk about what they are, but we talk about how to overcome them. And so there's a lot of things that people don't realize about the human metabolism, and that's it. First and foremost, you need to realize there is no one single diet that's going to work for everybody. There's just not. We're not that much alike. I mean, we're alike, but we're not that much alike. And there are people with different chemistries and different metabolic responses to various food intake. And so the very first thing that we learned to do was to attempt to identify the exact, or at least the best dietary groupings or guidelines for each individual based on their chemistry.
And that comes down to carbs and calories, right?
Calories, carbs, fat, and then from there we go to incidence of consumption. What's right? You know, you always hear you got to eat 3 balanced meals a day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day for some people. But there are thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of people for which that recipe is catastrophic. So you need to know that first. You need to know how your body handles the food that you intend to consume.
And there is something that I've always thought about when I've heard your weight loss videos and podcasts and all that, is that you've always drive home that cheating is a must if you do this properly and if you actually listen to what you say to do.
That's right, and there's a reason for that. Cheating has something to do with controlling and stimulating your metabolism. This is something that most people don't understand. And that is, if you do the same basic thing, you eat the same basic calories, you eat the same basic foods every day, day in and day out, eventually you hit what's called a plateau, because the body adjusts to your newfound lifestyle. So let's say you go on 1,400 calories a day and you start to lose weight. Eventually, you're liable to plateau because the body has been readjusting itself to that new caloric level. The same with carbohydrates. So where does cheating come in? Cheating, if you do it right, causes the body to wake up. It causes your metabolism to get excited again about life and about food, and guess what? It starts to gear up and you start to lose weight. But there's a right and a wrong way to cheat. 99% of the people who cheat in the worst possible way.
Yeah, and the cheating that you're talking about is sometimes used at that, what people would call the weight loss plateau, right?
Correct. It is one of the weapons, one of several weapons that we have to break a plateau. Most people, when they cheat, they do what we call the sneak and nibble concept. In other words, they're at work, they're at their desk, and they got this drawer full of candy and candy nuts and all of that. Well, I'm just going to have 2 or 3, and that's how they justify it. But they have 2 or 3, 8 or 10 times a day. And what that's doing is that's raising blood sugar, it's lowering blood sugar, it's increasing food cravings, and it's setting you up on a roller coaster for further problems. When we talk about cheating, our program requires, not suggests, requires that you cheat once per week, just once. And during that time, you pick the day, you pick the meal, no restrictions, but you can only do it once a week. And for that one meal, for that 2-hour period, you can eat anything your little heart desires.
Wow.
But at the end of 2 hours, we're done.
Yeah.
And we go right back to the program that we've assigned to you. And what that does is it jumpstarts the metabolism once again.
Yeah, and then you can start continuing back on your weight loss journey. And so how does that play into the eating too little calories for people who are calorie sensitive?
Yeah, for those people who tend to be calorie sensitive, their number one failure is eating too little food. We put them on a 1,400 calorie program and they start to lose weight. So they think to themselves, why, if I went down to 1,200 calories, I'd lose more weight and I'd lose it faster.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go down to 1,000. And when they plateau, they go down to 800, thinking that eating less food will break the plateau, which it won't. Because when you eat too little food, your body goes into chemical hibernation.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that your metabolism slows down to a screaming halt. And virtually every single time we see a plateaued calorie person, someone who's counting calories, and we see them plateau, virtually every time we increase their calories, not decrease them, and they start to lose weight again.
Wow. And so I want to kind of jump around here a little bit. I really wanted to discuss and make sure, say up front, about the 4 basic metabolisms.
Yes, there are offshoots of that, but there are 4 basic. There's calorie sensitive, carbohydrate intolerance, a combination of both, and what we call the insulin resistant metabolism. That would cover hypoglycemia, diabetes, prediabetes, etc. And it's important to know which one of those categories you fall in, because if you don't know that and you eat the wrong combination of foods for your chemistry, it could be, in the long run, frustrating and result in failure.
Yeah. And so what would you say is the biggest one as far as self-sabotage or not being mindful of what you eat? When do you see that play out?
Well, That's where psychology comes into weight loss. And most people don't understand the significant role that psychology plays in this whole issue. Because when someone goes on a weight loss program, even if they don't feel that way consciously, at least subconsciously, they feel deprived. They feel like they're suffering, sacrificing. And that's because they go out to lunch with their friends, and their friends are having martinis and eating whatever they like, and there she sits with her small salad and a glass of water with lemon juice. Well, you don't necessarily have to do that either if you know how to do it right. But as an extreme example. So that doesn't take very many times, and that lady starts to feel less self-worth. She feels depressed, she feels moody, she feels like she's not enjoying life like her friends, and so on and so on. The biggest way that we overcome that at our institute is we teach people to have a reason why they want to lose weight. If you just want to lose weight because you're probably going to fail because it's not important enough.
Yeah.
And people always ask, doctor, how do I get the motivation? How do I find the motivation to stay on my program? Well, the first problem with that is that motivation is a concept that in reality does not exist. Motivation is a byproduct of something far greater and far more powerful, and that is desire. If you desire to have anything in your life, you want that new car, you want that new computer, you want the new latest phone, you'll find a way over time to get the funds to have it, if you want it bad enough. Well, it's the same thing with if you want to lose weight and the reason why you want to do that is strong enough. I want to live a healthier life. I want to be here for my children. I want to see my grandchildren grow up. Whatever your motivation is, if that desire is strong enough, motivation will follow automatically. You won't have to find motivation because the desire will drive you.
Yeah.
And once you have the desire in place, all the little annoyances like, gee, I can't eat what my friends eat. Gee, I can't go out and do this. Gee, I can't have that. All doesn't matter anymore because the desire is greater than the temporary fix.
Yeah. So let's get right into it and go straight in. There's somebody watching this video right now and they finally committed. You know, it's not January 1st anymore. They're right into it and they go, okay, I want to make some decisions and I don't want to try one of these dangerous weight loss drugs or one of these crazy trends. I just want to get into it. I would say a good place to start is the excess toxins, and that would go along with the Slim Cleanse from Phoenix Nutritionals. So I would say let's start there.
One of the first things that we do when we bring someone into our program is we detoxify them. Because let's face it, you've been eating and drinking and laughing and having a great time for the last 8 weeks. And I guarantee you, your body is toxic. It's built up in the liver and soft tissues, a whole host of toxins that come not only from food, but from the environment, from beverages, from all sorts of sources. We've discovered a long time ago that if a person's organs of elimination, primarily the liver, but not exclusively, we also include the kidneys, if those organs are suffering from a burden of toxins, your metabolism will not be able to function at optimal levels. So you're already starting off with one foot in the failure zone if we don't fix that. So one of the very first things we do is we detoxify the body with a wide variety of natural herbs and extracts which address all the organs of elimination, including the liver, kidney, bowel, bladder, and colon itself.
And then the next step, as far as psychological maybe for those people who are having to do the carb cutting, where we know that that can affect the mind, that's where blood sugar support comes in. How is that such an important factor in the people who have to cut carbs, and or is it a factor for people who have the calorie based?
One of the big pitfalls of weight loss are food cravings.
Yeah.
And people will tell you that those food cravings oftentimes become so intense that it's like trying to withdraw from other substances. It's many people in our classes have said it's like trying to get off of cocaine or heroin or something. It's just awful.
Well, there's even those studies, about that.
Yeah, and if those cravings overwhelm you, you're constantly going to be setting yourself up for failure. Well, the biggest cause of cravings, outside of psychological, which we already talked briefly about, but chemically, is what we call fluctuating blood sugar. Most people who suffer intense food cravings are what we call carbohydrate intolerant individuals. So they're hypersensitive to carbohydrates or any food that forms sugars. And they oftentimes come to us consuming a diet of 80% sugar-forming foods or more. But when you start to back those people off of that, their cravings can be overwhelming. And so we developed a formulation which is designed to stabilize blood sugar. It's designed to prevent the spike of blood sugar, the fall of blood sugar, and hence indirectly helps to control those cravings. Now, not everybody who is carbohydrate intolerant has these food cravings. Some people who are calorie sensitive have them. And the point is if you're one of these individuals who suffers from food craving, this formula can make your life and your weight loss journey a whole lot easier.
Yeah, and then I guess that brings me to the last step, which is nutrient deficiencies leading to the not mindful eating or the self-sabotage, because you're not taking a high potency full spectrum either liquid vitamin or capsule that would help you balance it out, that you would want to continue to maintain your overall health too.
And that plays right into what we've just talked about food cravings.
Yeah.
Because one of the other reasons for food cravings would be nutrient deficiencies. So much of the food that we eat is what we call empty calories. There's no nutrient value in most of the crap we eat. And that's just a sad fact of life. The standard American diet is one of the worst diets in the world. And when your body is nutrient deficient, so picture this for a second. You're eating whatever you want, right? You're eating 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day, whatever you want. And you're consuming foods that are low in nutrient value. Now, you go on a diet. What do? You go from the 2,000 calories a day or more, you go down to 1,400 calories. How would you think your nutrient value would change? Would it go up or go down? It would definitely go down because you're consuming less food. And hence, as a result, your body is craving these nutrients. And we learned so long ago that this was so important. It's one of the top 10 reasons for weight loss failure, and it's probably the very first one outside of detoxing the body that we insist on.
Yeah.
In fact, I have done classes where we absolutely insist that all of our participants take a full spectrum liquid supplement every day. And if they don't, they get kicked out of the class, basically, because it's so important. And it remains one of the top 10 reasons for weight loss failure. And you can find out a lot more about these that we discussed and the others that we haven't touched on by downloading my book from Amazon.com. It is called The Weight Management Revolution. It explains all about nutrient intake. It explains about metabolism. It has secrets of overcoming plateaus. It has over 200 recipes for every body type, so you don't even have to figure out what you're going to cook. All the recipes are in there. As I said at the outset, it represents 50 years of my research and study into weight management.
And if anybody has any questions about what they read, they can call you at the 619-507-2113.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And all of that contact information is also in the ebook.
Yeah, good. Well, that concludes our little discussion about all the kickoff to weight loss season. The next video, we're going to really go into all the trends. We're going to go into fasting. We're going to go into the vegan, vegetarian lifestyles. We're going to go into the Ozempic debate. We're going to get into all of it. So stay tuned, subscribe, follow, like, send to your friends, share, and thank you so much.